Oh, yeah, but shout out to Trigger because again, despite him being in such a dire position, he still made a game out of it. He still made it as tense as possible towards the end by avoiding the Broodlords going across the map, punishing bases, punishing ultras, even the mothership having its own time to shine as well. Did do as best he can to hold his own, but again was eventually overwhelmed. But regardless, we're getting into our fresh series, our fresh best of 5. Spawning in the bottom right hand corner of Winter Madness, we have the Finnish Zerg player. We have the blue Zerg representing Basilisk. It is Serral. And spawning in the top left hand corner, we have the South Korean Terran player. We have the red Terran representing Shopify. It is ByuN. Here we go. So players are building up. Welcome to our ZvT. Now, coming into this, Serral is coming in as the favorite player. ByuN, I would say his TVZ is a little bit shaky here, but I do like this, though. He's going CC first. ByuN, he's a very diverse player. I will say that, whether it's CC first, 2-Rax Reaper, 3-Rax Reaper, proxies across the map, 8-Raxes, 3CC 2-on-1s, ByuN can be very, very diverse in his play, and that is where his strengths lie, is trying to catch out his opponent and getting an edge over his opponent as well with something that's unorthodox. So CC first out of ByuN, he will have a boosted economy, and we'll see what he does with this boosted economy. We have seen many a Terran player like ByuN, like Maru, like Clem as well, off of a greedier build, turn this into a faster Rax, into say a 3CC 2-on-1, into an 8-Rax follow-up. That is in the back of my mind. I will say that 8-Raxes are weaker in the current patch. That is true, 8-Raxes are weaker, but it's something that this can still lead into, and it's something that we still see every now and then. If you're curious, one of the reasons why an 8-Rax has kind of fallen off over time over the past couple of months is because of the buff to the Baneling. Baneling tech is now more viable. Previously, it was very, very standard to open up roaches and to be forced to open roach as well to be safe, but now Zerg players can once again open up Ling Bane. They can open up Ling Bane. From here we have Link Speed on the way. Serral pulls out, claiming his third base, and settling in. Oh, okay. This I was not quite expecting. I was expecting to see a second Rax, but no, it's going to be a 1-1-1. So we do have a hyper-aggressive build here by ByuN after the greedy opener. From here, ByuN is delaying his third. He has a very, very late third CC in favor of additional Hellion, in favor of earlier Banshee production here as well. Assuming that we are going for that, we'll kind of see how our add-ons do shape up. How ByuN builds up into this. We can keep the reactor on the Rax and go into reacted Marine. We can go for an add-on swap into reacted Hellion. Do we go for the armory into a Hellbat push? Oh, okay. Very interesting. Does keep it here on the Rax, actually continue Marine production, going for the early drop, and we might still go for that armory. We'll see. Regardless, a very early move out here from ByuN after a greedy build. Very aggressive. Going for a delayed third CC. And we'll see what ByuN can get done. He can hunt down overlords, he can apply pressure, but I'm sure he wants more than that. Here comes a move out. ByuN has eyes on this first overlord. He wants it. He's going for a liberator follow-up as well. Okay. It does feel like ByuN is freestyling a little bit. Marines, they move in, but the Queens are in position, and ByuN fails to kill the Overlord. Ay, ay, ay. Yeah, ByuN's being forced back. Ideally, he wants to keep Serral off tempo. I mean, so far he is. So forced to make extra lings. Does go there first. And that sweep goes here with the Hellions. Is going to be Lair before anything else. And Serral's playing safe. Okay, so Lair first into the Baneling Nest, into delayed Era Chambers. Serral being very, very safe. As ByuN is getting to early 1-1 upgrades. Building up to 5 Raxes. Serral does confirm that it is going to be Bio as a follow-up. ByuN does mix in mech nowadays, so important to find out. Serral also scouts the CC. So he's aware there's no 2-base all in, he's aware it's Bio. Serral does know. Ooh, even getting surrounded. Ay, ay, ay. Yeah, cashing out 2-3 Marines. Oh, nice pickups. Hopefully everything's okay. Feels bad on that, man. ByuN is trying to be active. Stimmin +1 or Stimmin 1-1, they're finishing up really early on. This is hitting much earlier than usual. So typically these 1-1 timings, they hit around 7 minutes. This is hitting at 6:20. So again, just a very unusual timing here from ByuN, hoping to catch Serral off guard. Picking up tumors. Serral does not have much Ling Pain to work with. And ByuN even more so in those Hellbats. Looking for another way in. He's still holding up to Stim. Liberator coming in from behind. Doesn't quite get the Spore. Can he get the Queens though? He gets one. Yeah, gets one, gets 2 Queens. Baileys are rolling in. They should be focused down. And no connections. GG gets called. Yeah, Serral gets called out with his pants down. And ByuN takes game number 1. GG. Whew, GG, well played. A very quirky build here by ByuN. As I was trying to emphasize, this hit it hit 40 seconds earlier than usual. Even I think actually more than that. Usually the army pushes at around 7 minutes, but this was hitting very, very early on, winding it back. Remember, it was CC first into an early 1-1-1 into reactive marine production into a much, much earlier double eBay 1-1 upgrade timing here. Very, very unusual build here by ByuN. And again, Serral, especially when you're a player like Serral who has kind of like all these timings like locked in and kind of like has the entire game kind of mapped out ahead of time, going up against this, who I've never seen anyone else go for this build before, was very, like, I'm sure off-putting. Like Serral was like, what the hell's going on, what's happening? And again, he had nothing to defend, right? He had no lings, he was droning because this is the time when you do drone, and was caught with his pants down. GG, well played. With that, ByuN does take lead in the series, and we'll see what other builds ByuN has up his sleeve. Let's go. As spawning in the bottom right hand corner, we have his opponents. We have the finished Zerg player. We have the blue Zerg representing Basilisk down in the series, and we'll see if he can tie things up, if he can bring it back. For Basilisk, it is Serral. And spawning in the top left hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the red Terran player. The red Terran player himself. We have the south green Terran representing Shopify. It is ByuN. And again, a very quirky build last game at ByuN. I think that's one of those that was one of those games where we say this every now and then, that was not a safer ladder build. Like if you're out there and you're like, oh, okay, that was really weird, that was really quirky, I want to try that on the ladder, and then you go in and then your opponent has has been inefficient, has not been droning, and been making an army, they'll just shut you down like that. Like this was hyper specific here to catch a player droning when they typically would in a standard game. More importantly, I guess because of the early medevac drop as well, ByuN ensured there was no Overlord in position to scout. The Overlord was zoned away, didn't kill the Overlord, but made sure there was nothing in the main attack path either, to make sure that Serral wasn't aware ahead of time. But yeah, we cast more StarCraft than anyone else out there, and I'll be honest, I haven't seen like Clem or Maru or Kuro Bunny go for that same build that we just saw at ByuN in game 1. And it's something that you do once in a series. Like, you never again. This time, Rax Expand, standard opener out of ByuN. This time does go for a standard build. And we'll see if ByuN goes for another 1-1-1. For now, again, we're just kind of settling in. Serral pulls out of gas, droning up, hatch gas pool. Serral does have a delayed third expansion. It's going to be a little bit later, but it's still in the way. Expanding on the left-hand side. Going for the linear third. Meanwhile, welcome one also to 10,000 feet. 10,000 feet is one of the smaller maps of the map pool. Shorter rush distance by ground. Aggression can be favored here on 10,000 feet because of that. And we'll see how aggressive ByuN plans on being, as behind this he goes for a third CC before starport. Economic build this time. Okay, so standard economic build, going for the third CC. This should be followed by the starport, but eyes are on ByuN. Yeah, there we go. Does go for the standard follow-up into Banshee play. So far, this should be a much more comfortable game for Serral. Much more comfortable. As he's free to drone, free to saturate, and free to build up to 3 and 4 bases. There's nothing to really threaten him yet. In the near future. We are still amassing. Banshees are on the way. We do see that ByuN, he does not invest into Cloak, so he's cutting some corners here, or he's not really investing too hard into Banshees, I should say. It's not a big investment. We have the Tech Lab follow-up in towards Stim, in towards that ByuN mid-game. Oh, even fakes Cloak. Okay. Does go for the fake outs, hoping to force earlier spores out of Serral. As the Banshee is revealed. And Serral will be setting up. Should be setting up back at home. Just like last game, Serral, he's going lair first. So lair first into delayed Evo chambers. Into what should be a safer build. Banshee zoned away. Wow, and Serral doesn't take the bait. Going for the spore a little bit later here. Spore at the third, no spore in the main. As there is a second Banshee on the way. Into a second Banshee. A standard follow-up, getting into double eBays. I guess the next big thing that we're really looking for is an ARAX. But as I mentioned before, like ARAXs have fallen out of favor. They're much rarer nowadays. I could see them working on 10,000 feet, but only if you have momentum early on. And ByuN doesn't really have that. So we might just play out into a standard mid game. As ByuN is getting his 5 Raxes up and running. Serral getting into early bailing speed. And we just be chilling. Right now the name of the game is just ByuN denying creep and Serral spreading as much as he can. That's kind of all the interactions we're really seeing at the moment. We're nearing that 7-minute mark. We did mention previously that, hey, at 7 minutes is usually when the Terran player should be pushing. If you remember last game, ByuN was already moving into the bases at this timing, or even before this timing, which is why it works so well. ByuN is waiting for his upgrades. Waiting for his tanks. He's gonna have 3. So here comes the move outs. Again, a much more standard timing out of ByuN. It's all standard. As ByuN does rotate. Do you see what I see? I see no gases at the third base and 3 more Raxes. Okay, it is going to be an A-Rax. That's a good thing we didn't write it up. Despite it being very unpopular nowadays, it is going to be a thing here on 10,000 feet. It makes sense based on how small the map is. So ByuN is going for a 3-base all-in. 3-base all-in out of ByuN. Tank volley is going off. Now going to be zoned away. Serral collapsing, coming in from behind. Oh my god, the surround! Yeah, surrounds the army, shuts down the push, shuts down the aggression, and ByuN, does he lose any tanks? He loses 2. Oof, 2 tanks go down. That is brutal. Bearing in mind that he's 3-base all in, he had to commit, and now he's taking his gas. Yeah, now he's taking his gas geyser. 2-2 is on the way. ByuN, he still needs to find some damage here, but without those tanks, again, going for an A-Rax, you don't really have many tanks to begin with. He's down to 1. And now we get a 4th CC on location, a very late 4th base. This was never the initial plan. ByuN is falling behind. He's making 12 Marines at a time here. Now building back up to 2 tanks. Banshees, they distract. Serral going for the counterattack even. Oh. Trying to catch reinforcements. Once again, setting up for the surround. And he pulls the trigger. Yeah, Serral, he's going for it. Comes in from behind. Once again, the tanks are going to be shut down. Bailey's a smash on in. How big up? ByuN does get away, but once again, he will lose both tanks. And soon, Serral will be able to counterattack. Now, winding it back, discussing and talking about the build itself that ByuN was going for, it was a failed 8-Rax. It is basically purely Marine tank. Pure Marine tank with a low gas count. Because there's low gases, that means there's no Marauders, that means there's no second factory, it's just now being thrown down. The quality of the army here for ByuN is very low. It's a very, very low. And as the game goes on, it's becoming worse and worse for ByuN. As the tank does lay siege upon the army, okay. Does get within range. We see the hive is done for Serral. Serral's building up into his Ultra Cavern. That is the win condition for Serral, is just survive until Ultras. Just survive, papi. Does he have a Viper? No. So no Vipers. Does threaten a counterattack, and the planetary is not quite yet done. So it does force a lift. Picks off a couple of SCVs. Oh, does overextend a little bit there. Here we go, once again collapsing on the main army. Bailey's a smash in, massive connections. Oof. Again, ByuN, he needs to get into those Marauders and ideally in towards an academy. Nice catch on these Lings. Very nice. Serral does get surrounded. Does fall in supply. Ultra production has begun. Oof. The Ultras are coming. Nice pick up though. ByuN, he does get the expansion. Very nice. Hatchery goes down, pushing on the right hand side again. ByuN, he needs to get damage here. And now can he get both expansions? He can. Wow, massive. Oh, no, ByuN! Por favor. There we go. Gets both bases. Both expansions go down. ByuN has to get the hell out of here. And does pull away. Oof. Yeah, it does attempt to pull away. Late reaction to the power bombs. Serral is still maxed out. Getting ready for Dropper Lords. And ByuN is trying to transition. He's trying to transition in towards more tanks and towards that second factory. Based on the amount of tanks we're seeing here, ByuN, he might just try to turtle. We already have a sensor tower, so just mass sim cities, sensor tower, missile turrets, more planetaries, more CCs. Yep, there we go. He's turtling. Oh boy. Still being active with the bio army at least, which is risky. Yeah, very risky here. Serral, he needs to set up that surround once again. ByuN is still denying mining. Denies the expansion. Oh, gets a kill. Yeah, kill not a cancel. Massive pickoff. ByuN, he's popping off. He's popping off, pappy. Yeah, Dune drop into the main. There is an opening. Lings, they do slip in towards the center base as well. No major pickoffs, so as Serral, he'll lose all these Zerglings. Does get some more damage in the main though. SCVs are going down. Damage is being done. No shot. Does ByuN get another expansion? He does. Yeah, this hatchery will fall. Serral just losing base after base. At the same time though, does collapse on the planetary, but the banelings will bring it down, but there's more CCs. Does get the SCVs as well though. Yeah, 30 SCV kills, massive pickoffs. 32. 32 SCVs are still Lings borrowed in the main. Tanks are finally cleaned up. Nice fungal. Oh, the chain fungal even. Barely boosts away. And we're getting messy. We're getting very messy here. On the one hand, Serral has been losing bases. That is true. Has been losing expansions, has been having limited mineral lines or limited economy. But Serral, he had a bank to work with to begin with. So Serral, he's already remaxed. ByuN is hurting that much more. ByuN losing bases, losing workers. These are losses that ByuN cannot afford in comparison. So ByuN is hurting. Likewise, ByuN, he still has no academy or liberators. He's still vulnerable to ultras. Defensive play and defensive SimCity here will be helping him, of course. But ByuN is losing map control. He's losing map control. So commits in. Oh. Commits into the bases. Serral diving into the main. And we do see these chemical production even catching out some of these tanks. Very nice. Yeah, tanker should get picked up. Main army's moving in. Catching out the fringe bases. Planetary should go down. And will. And ByuN's just being torn apart here. Losing expansions. Losing mineral lines. Bleeding out from his production. And even back at home, Serral is ready for the counterattack. He's ready for the drop. Serral's just all over this, and ByuN is running out of steam. I will say that in the early to mid game, ByuN, he was holding his own and was doing very, very well when it came to knocking down expansions and keeping Serral on the back foot. That was until we saw the drop, right? That was until we saw the drop play, and also until the Hive came into play with all those ultras. ByuN is now struggling to keep his head above water. He is now switching to Ghost production though. He's getting there. He needs more time. ByuN needs a little bit more time. Un poquito más. At the same time expanding top right, or at least trying to. So going for another Doom drop. The drops, they just continue. There's a sensor tower but no turrets. Yeah, no turrets in position. This time though, ByuN has an army to defend. True. Well, that's a kill. That was a kill, not a cancel. So it does poke in. We'll lose the queen. But still shots out the Bayou. Behind this are still 2 Vipers. Can even start abducting tanks. Oh. Has to be careful. Vipers, they pull away. And they pull away. ByuN does slowly gain some ground here. Fungal does land as the Serral collapses in. It does shut down the Bayou, forcing back ByuN. Serral doesn't have enough to go through all these liberation zones. The liberators are becoming a problem here. Free damage on the ultras. Free damage. The freedom pack. Yeah, the freedom is too much. ByuN, he finally takes top right. Fresh mining base for ByuN. ByuN, he's holding his own for now. I say for now just because here come the corruptors. 10 corruptors are in production. Serral finally will have an answer for these liberators. And the scary thing here is that if Serral can break this position, he can also push top right. That northern base is going to be under threat. So ByuN has to secure himself. Another power bomb. Serral getting ready for the late game, getting ready for Greater Spire. Broodlords. We're getting ready. Serral does catch a couple of medevacs. Again, Serral just refining his army. At this point, he's up to 6 ultras and 10 corruptors. So much more well-rounded. But ByuN's ready. Like, he's very entrenched here. The tanks, the liberators. He's as secure as he can be. And we'll see if Serral can break him. One thing that I will say is that ByuN should never take this base. This expansion should not get up and running. Serral, he does have eyes on this. Takes down the center planetary. And ByuN shouldn't fight for this either. Yeah, he backs off. And pulls away. Oh, we're gonna be here for a while. We're gonna. Okay, baby. Okay. ByuN, he's switching to mech. We have 3 more factories on the way. We spoke about this during the Cure series previously, but mech is kind of the late game composition you want as a Terran player. You want ideally ghost mech, so tanks, liberators, ghosts, Hellions, Cyclones, Thors. ByuN's working on that switch. So +3 vehicle weapons on the way. Can ByuN get there? Can he perfect his army? So they'll try to collapse in. Nice save on the ghosts. Ghosts are saved. Corruptors, they go in. Yeah, 1, 2, 3 liberators going to be going down. Ultras, they break through the siege line, and there's just no supports here. There's not enough buffer here for the tanks. So many tanks going down. The ghosts, they were in the metamax. They now drop off. Nice snipes. But some heavy losses here for ByuN. Yeah, ByuN, he plummets in supply. And ByuN survives, but it costs him every liberator and every tank. Oof. And even most of the ghosts. 1 ghost survives. Let's go. Unfortunately, ByuN was just out of position. Winding it back to what happened here, if you remember, ByuN, the fight began with ByuN lifting up all those ghosts, right? The ghosts that were too far forward, they were forced to lift, and because they were forced to lift, they weren't there to snipe the ultras, to stop the dive, stop Serral from engaging. They were stuck in the medevacs. So a strong moment there for Serral. And now suddenly this position is so much weaker. He can do that again. You just keep on going. There is now an opening. So does pull back. Pulls back, does catch out a free tank. Tank goes down. You can see here ByuN trying to switch it again into battle mech to support his army. We have Blue Flame on the way. Advanced server is just finished. And meanwhile, Serral does poke in, or does push in top right. Zones away the Banelings. Zones away with Banelings. Yeah, Ghosts are going to be forced back at the same time. Ultras, they break down the expansion. Planetary does fall. And ByuN has limited mining. ByuN is broke. ByuN is broke. He does take center left, but that should be the next target for Serral. That should be the next target. As that's going to be 24 SCV kills. He's still killing. He's still getting more damage. Still more SCVs. No. 30 SCV kills. Even slamming that final orbital. Serral now getting ready to push in and do the same thing at center left. What do we have to defend? We have 2 unsiege tanks. We have 2 liberators. Changelings are about to confirm. They're scouting ahead of time. Serral's trying to figure out, like, what do you have here? It's like, oh, not much. I see. As ByuN has no money. ByuN pushing forward. Serral looking to collapse in. Ghosts, they lead the charge. Serral actually going for a counterattack at the same time. Okay. Oh, runs into Blue Flame Hellions though. Yeah. Runs into Hellbats. Ling run by is denied. And hey, ByuN kills an expansion. Not bad. Does get a base. Ooh, we have Broodlords on the way. Uh-oh. Yeah, Broodlords are spotted. What is the anti-air looking like? Do we have any Vikings? No. 0 Vikings for ByuN. He does have 13 ghosts, and that's what he has to rely upon. He's heavily reliant on these ghosts. Ghosts are top right. The Broodlords have arrived. And that's EMPs. EMPs do zone away the infestors at least. And hey, ByuN, he's able to establish the space and able to max out as well. I assumed that Serral would be able to break this position earlier, but Serral, he never committed, right? He never committed in. So ByuN was able to get up and running. Serral should be denying these bases. Catching out ghosts. Ghosts are getting caught. Nice fungal here on the main army as well. Oof. Let's go. We have one Thor. Soon to be two. Soon to be two Thors. ByuN is trying to force his way through, catching out one of the Broodlords. Some okay snipes. This also shows the downside of switching to Broodlords as well, is that this did slow Serral down quite heavily. So it has allowed ByuN to re-expand and take more bases. Technically, Serral does have a more efficient army now, that is true, but at the cost of ByuN being able to retake expansions and build himself up as well. Oh, that's coming in. So ByuN takes down a hatchery. Serral moving in. Can he get on top of this ghost? He wants them. Okay, it does go for the dive. Ghost take it the hell out of there. They pull away. So he's going for that planetary. So we got some decent snipes. ByuN, he's racing on over to defend, but this base should fall. The expansion should fall here. Some more Broodlords are trickling in. Army gets spotted. No shot. ByuN, he might save this. No, the Hellbats. Yeah, as ByuN gets caught out mid-transition. Hellbat's going to be falling. One of the Thors as well. ByuN does save the expansion, but that was a rough trade here for ByuN. Remember, Serral can replace, ByuN cannot. So he pulled away with the Infestor Broodlord. 5 more Broodlords on the way. We have how many in total? 12. So it'll be 14. So 14 Broodlords. We finally have some Vikings. We've been avoiding them for so long. A couple of Vikings are on the way. That will help. Nice Mongol. No follow-up though. Getting one ghost. Catching a one, getting a second. Nice pickups. Forcing friendly fire. Again, ByuN is able to barely hold his own. Takes out an expansion, not bad. And again, it's just going to be a slow siege here from Serral. Taking it slow. Bearing in mind that ByuN does have a supermax army, he is up to 16 ghosts. Oh, I can't quite break through though. Yeah, snipes are being cancelled. So does start to commit in. Again, yes, we're so careful with these infestors. Cannot get EMP'd. Gotta be careful. Oh, as Serral, he cannot let this happen. ByuN going for the center expansion. Ay, ay, ay. I mean, ByuN, he has been more cost efficient here. but to have an even base count, that is terrifying. So he needs that expansion. I mean, you can argue it's mainly mined out at this point, I suppose. Oh, a little white land. Better fungal here on the ghost. Yes, Serral slowly pushing forward. Landing the chain fungals, the ghost, they gotta get out of here. They're getting caught. Yeah, massive pickoffs here. What, 4 ghosts going down. Serral does out trade, does out control. And Serral has done it. And now it can push into the bases. Planetary goes down. Ghosts are trickling in. And again, there's still what, like 3-4 fungals left. Oof. Yeah, at least they left some of the ghosts. No, the ghosts are getting caught out. Patient play here by Serral, holding onto his Ling Bane. Yeah, punishing ByuN. And with that, ByuN will lose everything. The ghosts go down, the Metamax, the Thors, the Vikings, the everything. GG gets called, and Serral will type the series 1-1. Whew. GG. GG, well played. Serral does tie things up here. Again, Serral, he was able to look a little more comfortable this game, building up, taking his bases, a much more tame early game, winding it back. Remember, ByuN initially started things off with an 8 racks, with a failed 8 racks. I was very impressed with that ByuN was able to survive and make a game out of it and eventually get into ghost production, but he was doing so from a deficit. So he didn't have momentum, didn't have map control, like he was in a really rough position post 8 racks, and we saw that he was able to somewhat max out and hold his own, somewhat. Unfortunately though, he had a really hard time expanding, taking top right, taking center left. Eventually he took them, but it was after the fact. After he had burned through most of his bank, and Serral was able to accumulate his own. GG. GG, well played. Oh, GG, well played. With that, we're tied up 1-1, and we're getting into game number 3. Going to be loading into White Rabbits. Let's go. We're going to be loading into one of the larger maps of the map pool. Larger map. We do often see longer games on this map as well. We'll see if we get there. We'll see. I'm ready. And spawning in the top right hand corner, we have the Finnish Zerg player, the Finnish Zerg, the blue Zerg representing Basilisk. It is Serral. And spawning in the bottom hand corner, we have the South Korean Terran player, we have the red Terran for Shopify. It is ByuN. Let's go. Let us go. Where were these games played? Online. Played online. LiuLi Cup. LiuLi Cup is an online tournament series. Non-offline events or anything like that. So you might be thinking of Thunderfire. Thunderfire was, of course, in China. Different events. Oh, as ByuN does open up 2 racks Reaper. Okay, so we do have an aggressive start here by ByuN. Bearing in mind that this is aggressive, this is not all-in. ByuN will be expanding behind this. ByuN may go for a 3rd racks in the main, but that has fallen out of fashion quite hard. I can't recall the last time we've seen a top player go for 3 racks, go for a 3 racks Reaper at this level of play. It's been months, if not a year. As that was played out quite a bit back in 2023 and coming into 2024. But now just 2 racks Reaper, 2 racks Reaper into the expand. The goal here is to contain Serral and to delay the 3rd. Delay the 3rd base as long as possible as we build up into a macro game. At what point does Cloak make sense? Is there a minimum amount of Banshees needed for it to pay off? I believe you mean like Banshee kills needed. Cloak is relatively common as a follow-up just because it does give your Banshees more longevity, right? Typically you're not necessarily able to like chase down the Banshees with Overseers, especially early on. You're reliant on your spores, and spores are stationary, so you're able to apply pressure and potentially pick off drones, potentially pick off queens, use Cloak to survive and have a little bit more persistence or have a little bit more longevity with said Banshees and gain value over time. There's a lot more potential for damage. What I will say though is in recent times, even before the buff to Hyperflight Rotors, we have seen Terran players, instead of going Cloak Banshee, go into Speed Banshee, so they have more micro potential. So in a similar fashion, you can just pull back the Banshee, preserve the HP, go back in and try to out-control your opponents early on. You see that more commonly in TVP. In Terran versus Proton, in Terran versus Protoss, and a little bit against Zerg. A little bit. But that kind of rose in popularity maybe last year. Just before the patch. Oh, hello. As we open up 2 ranks Reaper into early stim, into a 3rd ranks, into what looks to be a 2-base all-in. Hyper aggression here from ByuN, going for a very strong, very early Marine count into a very strong stim timing. Okay. And we'll see if we can keep this hidden. The Overlord does threaten a scout into the main base. It's going to be on ByuN to keep this 3rd ranks hidden, as this will hit quite hard. Overlord dips in. And Serral, does he get the scout off? Currently sees nothing in the main. Sees nothing in the main base. That's not much of a tell. It's quite common for the factory and the starport to be on the low ground after a 2-ranks opener. Serral, he does see the 3rd ranks. Big scout. Yeah, big moment here. This ranks is too close. It's too close here in the end, so ByuN fails to hide the build. He's rushing across the map as we speak, and Serral, he should be massing queens and zerglings. Yeah, that's what the move out. ByuN is rallying, stim is almost done. Queens are getting in position. There are 5 queens so far. Serral does have extra lings on the way. And ByuN doesn't commit. 3rd CC gets thrown down, so a delayed 3rd base out of ByuN. Very late 3rd. He invests into all these Marines. He has to do something with them. Gets a tumor. Does get a creep tumor. Again, there are only 10 lings, by the way. If he wanted to, he could kill those queens. Like, he could stim. He could stim in. Serral did underreact initially. Catching reinforcements. ByuN goes to the dive. Can he get the queens? Gets one. Oh, barely not. Lings they trickle in just in time. There we go. 1 queen goes down. But that was the first stim. That was the first stim being used, and ByuN, he does pull away, does get out of here. I do think that if ByuN was more aggressive earlier, even, 30 seconds earlier, he could have achieved so much more damage there. But ByuN was being so tentative. He was playing so safe and so careful, overly careful. And Serral holds. Serral, he does hold on, and ByuN falls behind. Okay, there's the stim. ByuN, he's trying to slip away. And does get behind the mineral line for a moment here. Trading as efficiently as possible, but he will still lose everything. He will lose the army. Back at home, trying to get into his own 5-rack setup. But Serral is free to drone. Free to drone. Pulls one carapace on the way. Lair, Bailey Nest. Serral is looking comfortable. It's looking good. Oof, we have 2 bunkers. Okay, Jesus. Rex. We have 2 bunkers on the way. So ByuN, he's getting ready for an all-in. He's getting ready to survive like a Bane bust or a Roach Rush. Bane bust mainly. So overreaction. Thankfully, ByuN can salvage, but this is still kind of a waste of resources. Shout out to Rex. Rex, I believe, was casting and may have even been the observer as well. I know that Rex has been working quite closely with SE Boy as of late. Sorry, with Saber, I meant to say. With LiuLi. As from here, the game is going to slow down. The game is going to slow down. ByuN is building up into 3 bases. Serral, he's free to drone up to, what, 70 workers. Double expanding, getting his 4th, getting his 5th base. Again, winding it back. ByuN was hyper aggressive and hyper committed early on, but the aggression did fail. And that's why Serral is free to do as he pleases. Take up into Hydras, upgrades. It's on ByuN to make something happen here. ByuN does move out. Behind this is EA Raxing? No. Okay. Standard setup. Very clutch. Does lift the depot in time. The Lings, they will hit the third though, and the mineral land is exposed. ByuN turns back around to defend. And he will clean up these Lings. That's a lot of Lings thrown away, true. So nice valley here by ByuN. Picking up more Zerglings. At the same time though, this is just giving Serral more time to build up a greater army. ByuN is still pushing. Still moving out. Yeah, pushing towards the queens. Hellbat does fall. And Serral has plenty of Lingbane to work with. ByuN cannot push onto creep. Not like this. Not with pure Marine. It's just a pure Marine army. And again, the reason for that is because of the 3-axe opener. Due to the 3-axe. As ByuN is now taking his gases. Baleen run by is attempted. Unable to keep up. Oh, Jesus. It has one Baleen to connect. The army is very low. So late pick up there from ByuN. As the main army does push on the right hand side. On Serral, he has to rotate. So far he's holding on. Yeah, he's holding on. 34 Lings on the way. Drop back in towards the third. ByuN being very annoying. And he needs to be. No, he's not paying attention. Oh my god. Yeah, ByuN inattentive. Massive connection here. Balings, they smash in. Oof, and ByuN, he gets completely shut down. Ay, ay, ay. The wrong moment here to not look at the army. ByuN. Again, it was hyper-fixated on this, on the double drop. But the pants were down. ByuN, who lose both medevacs, lose both drops. He also lost his main army. GG. GG gets called, and Serral takes a 2-1 lead in the series. Ay, ay, ay. GG, well played. Again, ByuN, ByuN was already in a rough position. He was already playing from behind, so, you cannot make mistakes in that kind of position just because of the earlier losses, just because of the failed 3-racks. In the follow-up here, ByuN, he had some potential, was picking up some Zerglings, he was applying pressure, moving out with 2 armies. Unfortunately, was inattentive, wasn't quite paying attention to the army on the right-hand side, and did lose everything as a result. GG. GG, well played. With that, Serral, he is now 1 game away from claiming the series. Meanwhile, ByuN, it's on him to try to bring it back, and to force the ace match. The pressure is on. Pressure's on, baby. Let's go. So you're loading into game number 4. Loading into a 3-player small map. True. And spawning in the right-hand corner, we have the Finnish Zerg player, the Blue Zerg, representing Basilisk, leading the series 2-1. It is Serral. And spawning in the bottom side of a Mothership, we have the South Korean Terran player. We have the Red Terran representing Shopify. It is ByuN. Opening up 2x Reaper once again. Okay, so going for the same opener, but remember, last game it was 2x Reaper into a hidden 3rd Rax into an early stim timing with a very strong move out. This time I would imagine a standard follow-up instead, like a 2x Reaper into a 2-1-1 into a 3cc 2-1-1 is what we're expecting here out of ByuN. Regardless, aggressive opener, as Reapers will be sent out across the map. Serral, he does gamble well. He does scout with the Overlord towards the south side first, and he will find ByuN. Remember, this is a 3-player spawn map. You can spawn in bottom side, top right, or top left. And currently our players are unaware as to each other's spawn location, but the Overlord will soon confirm. We'll soon confirm. as we do have our Raxes finishing up. Reapers are on the way. And again, just 2 Rax Reaper. There's no hidden 3rd Rax. So we should just be expanding and macroing from here. Remember, this is not an all-in. This is just an aggressive opener. It's designed to contain the Zerg player on a low base count and try to get a lead early on, economically. The Overlord pokes in. And I believe ByuN... Oh, did he notice the Overlord? No, he didn't. Yeah, ByuN does move out. So the Overlord has more vision than the Rax. So the Overlord saw the Rax did not see the Overlord. So ByuN doesn't know. Serral does. ByuN scouts top left, and Serral is freely droning up. He's droning, he's prioritizing link speed, and Serral should be delaying his 3rd expansion. Oh, no, never mind. He's just going... I mean, true, the Reapers are late. Yeah, Reapers are going to be late. So he can just take the 3rd. This is a better start for Serral. And Serral's checking for add-ons, is checking for any additional Reaper production. For now, just 3. 3 Reapers is the standard. Only 3. Here comes the follow-up. Reapers, they poke into the mineral line, and they don't get the drone. Clutch save out of Serral. Clutch save. We do have a hidden factory. Ooh, okay. Cheeky build out of ByuN. What I mean by that, okay. With the factory being thrown down behind the main base, that means that there's no add-on swap. That's what that tells us. There's a reactor on the way first, not a tech lab. So this is looking very sinister here from ByuN. It's looking very unorthodox. He's hiding his tech. This can lead into like factory, into like reactor, into armory, for example, for Hellbats. This can lead into Cloak Banshee. This can lead into BC. So eyes are on ByuN. Never mind. So he's going for his 2-on-1 setup here into a later 3rd CC. So he's still macroing up. We do have earlier stim, of course. There's going to be no add-on swap to continue marine production. And just using that factory to make a tech lab into an add-on swap. So nothing crazy here. And does go for the swap. Bearing in mind, remember his 3rd CC is delayed. To get this up and running, to get into Banshee. Now, one of the reasons why I said that this is more sinister here is we bring this up all the time. This is an inefficient build from ByuN. It is inefficient, but that's why it can work. What I mean by that, so a 2-on-1 is, what that means is that's a build where you have 2 Raxes, 1 starport, 1 factory. It's what we're seeing here. And what it leads into is a stim timing with 16 Marines and 2 medevacs. That is like the efficient kind of build, and that's what you want to do. You want those medevacs so that these Marines can actually do something. So you can be active and hit your stim timing. So Serral, in his mind, there should be medevacs on the way, right? There should be medevacs. This is a more inefficient variation because now there are no medevacs. That means that the stim timing isn't going to lead to anything because we're instead switching gears and going into the Banshee instead. As a result, Serral should not be ready with spores. He has 1 spore on the way in the main. He has no spore at the natural. He has no spore at the 3rd. But ByuN actually doesn't commit into Cloak. Oh, a little bit messy. Where are we going? No. The production was floating all over the place. A little bit indecisive or a little bit messy here, but now getting back into high gear, back into medevacs. And this first Banshee has potential for damage, but he didn't commit into a second Banshee, didn't commit into Cloak. Maru's very fond of this build, ByuN as well, but they usually do invest into Cloak and they commit a little bit harder. So in a way, this is like an inefficient variation of 2-on-1, but it's designed to like get damage done by blindsiding your opponent with a Banshee. As the Banshee does get across the map. Serral did not scout. And Serral has no spore in position, which is why, again, Cloak Banshees could have been amazing here. Like there's limited spores. In Serral's mind, there's no reason to get spores. But it's a vanilla Banshee instead. So, so ByuN, he himself like didn't really believe in this. Like it's a very like half-hearted like variation of this build. He was lacking faith, Batman, lacking faith. As ByuN does push forward, clearing up creep. That does create an opening. Banshee moves in, and the Banshee will find some damage at least. And it gets one. Just the one. And again, there was no Spore, there was no detection, there was nothing here. But again, it just wasn't too committed here. We didn't have our heart in it here for the Banshee play. Regardless, ByuN is being active, getting his third CC. Remember, the third base is delayed. He needs more damage. He attempts to delay the upcoming fifth base. Oh, guesses up the queens, gets one. One queen goes down, nice pickup. Serral Hill was late to transfuse. It's late to transfuse. Serral is being active across the map, trying to catch reinforcements. ByuN is in position. Nice defense here by ByuN. And he does force a cancel. It does force a cancel. No kill. As ByuN kites back. So far, nice control. So far, nice control at ByuN. Behind this, he's just going for a standard follow-up here. 5 Raxes. No gases yet. Yo, does find a Bailing. Let's go. Nice Bailing. Denying more creep. ByuN, he does have some momentum. And once again, can ByuN deny the fifth base? He's setting up for it. He's setting up for it. The base is under fire, and it looks like he will force a cancel. Oh, it's going to be close. Yeah, he does. Massive pig off here. Serral just can't expand. He cannot expand. And soon ByuN can start to overwhelm. He's getting there. At this point, Serral needs to double expand, right? His base is just so late, so delayed. Goes to the counterattack. It does find a CC. Okay. Good pickup. Takes down the command center. You know what? ByuN Doom dropping into the main. Is spotted by Serral. Spores are in position as well. Jeez, the Medivacs, they get punished. Oh my god. Crazy damage. Yeah, the Spores, they hold their own. Nice defense out of Serral. At the same time, he's in position here for the drop. But ByuN trades well. Picking up Bailings. To speak of what? 2, 3 Bailings. Yeah, likewise does focus fire even more. Serral is still fighting for his 5th expansion. And it looks like Serral, he barely does have enough. He has enough, takes down the tanks, the ByuN army. Serral finally does hold, does clean this up. ByuN isn't done. He's still moving out. This time through the center. I do like the idea of ByuN just reinforcing this position, just ensuring that Serral never does expand. Serral is taking that northern base. ByuN claiming his own 4th. That should force Serral to respond. And once again, ByuN just making sure there's no expansion. Pushing further in. Serral, I'm not so sure he saw the expansion. Oh, catching out some Marines. Nice target firing, getting 3. Picking up 3 more Banelings. Planetaries on the way. ByuN is maxed out. And Serral's been having a very hard time here in the mid game. Lack of economy, lack of tech, lack of momentum. We just now have the hydrogen at 11 minutes. Very late. Both armies are maxing out. But again, ByuN so far is doing an amazing job here just applying pressure. As you can see, these bases are not getting up running. Not just that, but the creep is non-existent. Creep is mainly connecting bases, but other drones, yeah, drones go down once again. Another big cancellation. Serral just can't expand. Full medevac goes down. Oh, full medevac does fall. Show some eye shots. Ooh. Yeah, my shots popping up. Catching out Zerglings. Serral does try to engage. And ByuN, he should be able to keep pushing. Like, the goal here is to just keep applying pressure, keep denying bases, ensure the Serral has a hard time taking up in towards Hive Tech. We have the Lurker Den on the way. So he's working towards Lurkers, and that is a way to slow the game down, but it feels so late. So many Liberators in production, and 2 more Starports as well. Liberation is soon to arrive. Oh no! Runs past the army. Massive mind shots here on the banelings. ByuN is going to keep pushing in, catching out the queens, zoning back Serral. Warlings, they do come in to reinforce. Serral holding on. He's trying to. He's trying to hold on another double on the left hand side. Nice control here by ByuN. One baneling does still connect though. Oh, and ByuN, he can't keep pushing. Yeah, Serral barely holds. So he barely holds on. At the same time, he saves the expansion as well. It's low though. Can he get it? The hatchery. Oh my god, barely, not 20 HP. The hatchery barely survives. Just barely. Oh, ByuN, he wants it. Yeah, he wants that expansion. Again, Serral just can't get a 5th. And if he can't get a 5th base, I mean, he just has a worse economy. As ByuN is getting his own. ByuN's 5th base is on the way. Still maintaining his army. We have the fusion core that should be for Liberator range. And right now, Serral, he has no good answer for Liberators. Lurkers won't be a good answer either. Vipers do help. But it's still going to be difficult. Wouldn't mind Zubaro. Oh, massive connections. Ay, ay, ay. The line shots, they pop up. ByuN pushing towards the center. Takes out the center expansion. Can also still go for a top left as well. And Serral just cannot build up his economy. No shot he loses another base. Like, no shot. Oh, on mine shots this time they do friendly fire. Yeah, a bit of friendly fire here. Serral, he does finally defend on the right hand side. He cleans up the army. At the same time, I'm still surprised that this base is still alive. Serral, he's hyper aware. He's he's in position. Okay. Serral, he maintains that 5th base. In my mind, like it was just going to go down, but no, it survives. Serral's holding. Serral's holding on. ByuN finally forced to back off. Behind this, going to 6, soon to be 7 Liberators. Ling Rabbi does hit the middle line. Not many SCVs to kill, but does catch him nonetheless. As ByuN is pushing forward. Still, he gets through the Liberator zones. Through the Liberation. Oh my god, and Banelings, they don't connect amazingly, but it's going to be enough. Yeah, cleans up the army. At the same time, top left finally goes down. We're getting messy. ByuN loses 1 expansion, but so does Serral. And Serral's base didn't mean that much more. It was more crucial, was more important. Serral's forced to engage, and Serral does have enough. And collapsing the army. Zoning back the Marauders. This time Serral has the backbone. He's got his Hydras. Hydras have been amassing. As again, ByuN is doing the best he can to just drag Serral down into the mud with him. But is he losing too much? Is he losing too much? ByuN down to 65 SCVs. He's on a 3-base economy. And Serral, despite being denied bases for so long, he's getting them up. Like, he has now center right up and running. It's still quite tense. Do you have a third Viper on the way? As ByuN is trying to push through the center, Serral setting up for a surround. Flanking the army. Use some decent mine shots. Oh no! But ByuN gets knocked down. Yeah, he gets knocked down. Massive bailing connections. ByuN cannot get away. We have flanking workers coming in as well. Pushing towards the planetary. And Serral, he's finally done it. He's finally done it. He catches out the Medivacs as well. Full Medivacs going down. And so for the first time this entire game, he's able to push. He's able to break out. Pushes across the map. Lurkers have arrived. Takes down the planetary. And Serral has done it. Again, up until this point, ByuN was doing such an amazing job at denying bases, at trading with his opponent. But eventually, Serral broke out. He broke out from his contain. Snowballed out of control. And that momentum that ByuN once had isn't there anymore. It's not there anymore. He couldn't stop Serral back. Couldn't stop him. Almost did. He's almost able to take it, but in the end, Blinding Clouds, they cover the army. Serral is overextending. We need more Lings. We need more Zerglings here. So Serral has to calm down. Oof. Rallying into the army. As Bailey's... Oh no! They finish up in the face of the army. Brutal connections. And again, ByuN doesn't really have much left. Like, this is kind of it. He's got 2 drops on the left. He's got 2 drops on the right. He's doing what he can. But alas, he's overstimmed. Oof. We get some decent mine connections, but alas, Serral's army has arrived. Got his Hydras, got his Vipers. Oh, ByuN's dropped there. Out trading. Jesus. Okay. He's holding his own. He's trying to hold on here. Didn't quite float over the main. Still maintaining his economy, muling his heart out as much as he can. But the scary thing here is that the lurker count is getting higher, and at this point there is no good answer. We are making some ghosts and some liberators, but the supply just isn't there. There's not much support. And speaking of, ghost goes down. I'm investigating courts. It's gonna be 2, it's gonna be 3 dead ghosts. He's gonna get out of here. Oh no! Abducting ghosts. I mean, sure, why not? The ghosts are abducted. ByuN once again rotating on the right. Once again, he's got 2 active drops on the left. Trying to pull apart the attention of Serral. Serral, though, he has an army in position. At this point, like, he's kept up with the tempo of ByuN. He's caught onto it. His drop is finally cleaned up. And we're just kind of waiting for Serral to actually push. He's been stuck defending throughout the past, what, 5-6 minutes. We had that one push through the center. Has been stuck defending until this moment. Now we can finally break out. And he's going for it. Nice, thinking about it. And trying to find a better angle. Watermine's going to be focused down. Ling Bane coming in from behind. Oh god! The flank is brutal. Yeah, so many ghosts go down. Again, there's barely a standing by army. GG gets called, and Serral, he will claim the series 3-1, advancing on to the semi-finals. GG. Whew. GG, well played, congratulations. Serral, he does claim the series. He does advance on. Again, a very intense back and forth. ByuN's kicking things off with a lead in the series. And even here in this game, I was very impressed by ByuN. I thought we were going to see an ace match. Winding it back, remember, ByuN, he was killing the 5th base, and the 5th base, and the 5th base over and over again. And Serral, he was just stuck on a 4-base economy. He could not expand. He could not spread creep. He was stuck at home. And we saw that ByuN was dominating. But unfortunately, Serral, throughout all of that, he was slowly refining his army. He was building up into Hive, building up into Lurkers. He was still maintaining his army for the most part, and eventually he was able to get his bases up and running. Like, he was constantly double expanding. It took a long time, but eventually the 5th base did get up. He was able to max out, build up a semblance of a bank, and start to outtrade his opponent. Start to outtrade ByuN, and eventually was able to overwhelm him instead. GG, well played. It felt like ByuN, he had a lead, he had the advantage, but he wasn't able to do anything with it. He was kind of stuck denying and kind of deterring Serral instead of being able to push in and go for a killing blow and go for something more decisive, like getting into the main base, or taking a better, greater fight, or pushing in towards the 3rd, pushing in towards the 4th. It was just kind of like more surface damage and more containing the Zerg instead of really stopping them, until eventually broke out. GG, well played. With that, congratulations to Serral. A very impressive performance here, especially when it comes to the comeback, I would say, here in the final game. GG, well played. And now we have our top 4 players for LiuLi Cup. We have our top 4. It is going to be Reina versus Maru in the upper semifinals, and Rogue versus Serral in the lower semis. Here we go. But again, GG, well played. Impressive performance here. So we had some crazy games, a lot of late games, some more early and mid game aggression as well. Clem versus Maru is still the highlight for me. Went all the way to the ace match. Was very close, very clutch. Could have gone either way. Was a very intense back and forth series. And if you missed out, I do highly recommend the VODs. That was definitely the standout performance here. Otherwise, we have our semis, and we'll be catching up with the semifinals tomorrow. Tomorrow will be the semis, so we got you covered there. Otherwise, thank you so much for watching. Thanks so much for watching. Thanks so much for tuning in. And again, congratulations to our top performing players. My condolences to Cure, Clem, Trigger, and ByuN. My condolences as they are knocked out of LiuLi Cup. They are knocked out. And when it comes to the rest of our schedule here this week, as you can see, we have 4 days straight of LiuLi Cup, even 5 days this week. We just wrapped up with our Friday morning broadcast. Tomorrow morning, Saturday, we're going to be live with more LiuLi Cup. That'll be the semis. And then Sunday will be the bronze match and the grand finals. Oh boy. So 2 more days left of LiuLi Cup. Meanwhile, tomorrow evening, we have the Duckling Open. We have SDO tomorrow evening and Sparkling Tuna Cup Sunday evening as well. Those are open cups and amateur events as well for the greater StarCraft scene. If you want to support us, you can do so via Patreon. Our Patreon does fund those tournaments on a regular basis. The Duckling Open is a monthly bronze to diamond tournament, and the Sparkling Tuna Cup is a weekly open cup. That's where all the pro players do face off. Last week, we had Hero versus ByuN in the finals, fun fact. It was an intense back and forth. Also went to the ace match. I highly recommend the VODs of that game, of those matches. And speaking of, if you want to tune into the VODs, if you say miss out on Clem versus Maru, !socials, YouTube, get a link to our YouTube channel. We do stream on YouTube on a daily basis alongside Twitch, and the VODs are uploaded on a daily basis as well. So plenty of VODs, plenty of content over on YouTube. Do check it out. It's all there. It's all on YouTube. Do consider checking it out. Otherwise, thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much. Yeah. Oh, sorry, I forgot to mention it. ZMFRM in the chat. Does Blinding Cloud interrupt Ghost Snipe? It does not. Ghost Snipe counts as an ability or a spell. The Blinding Cloud really only affects auto attacks. So if you Blinding Cloud a High Templar, it can still storm. If you Blinding Cloud a Ghost, it can still snipe because it's like a targeted ability instead. What does interrupt though are fungals. The reason why a fungal interrupts is because a fungal does damage, and if damage is done to a ghost, then that does interrupt the snipe. The other thing, of course, is abduction. The abduction does interrupt the snipe as well. So abducting, fungals, damage with like links collapsing in or something like that. But otherwise GG. Otherwise GG, well played. That reminds me, that's similar to, that's why we bring up like in StarCraft Evolution, in SEL, whenever we see the Brood War version of a fungal, which is Ensnare. Whenever we see Ensnare on Ghost, that doesn't stop the snipe because Ensnare doesn't do damage, right? So you can ensnare a bunch of ghosts and then the snipes, they just punish the queens, and you have ghosts have a stronger kind of presence in that matchup as a result. But otherwise, GG. Otherwise, GG, well played. Otherwise, thanks for watching. Thank you so much for tuning in. And we'll see you guys tomorrow for the semifinals of LiuLi Cup. See you tomorrow. See you tomorrow. See you over the weekend. Hope you had a great stream. Hope you had a great week. And we'll see you guys next time. Ciao, papi, ciao. See you next time. Hasta luego.